Yo, what up guys, it's Mosen here with MTA number 14 for the 19th of August 2018, and the topics are integration of other games in Classic, the Postmaster set, and feedback, favorite dungeons and seasons. Let's jump right in. By the way, funny story. At the start, I actually posted some just a thing on Reddit where I said, "Hey, this is up here in MTA daily content, right?" And so I posted that, just provided a link on Reddit, and then I went off for 1 or 2 days, and I came back to Reddit, checked the inbox, and it's like this guy, and he says, "Isn't this what Reddit is for? What's the difference between you and other anonymous Reddit users in an opinion?" And the answer is, I'm making videos, and the anonymous Reddit users with opinions don't make videos. If you go by that, then every opinion of anyone in the universe is invalid, and they should not be able to make content. So I don't know. He seemed really upset about people making videos and talking about stuff. I don't know why, but yeah. As I said, this is a feedback show, and you can put in questions that you have. This is not really giving my opinions to everything. Of course, that's part of it. That's part of every video on YouTube, basically. And I don't know. You just the way that it works, and I don't know. Maybe you just didn't get it and saw someone else that he didn't like, and then he thought I'm one of those guys. Whatever. I don't care. About the random guy's rage on the internet. It's just that the way that it works is there are topics to be covered, and there's a lot of knowledge you can share with people that have not been playing for very long, and it actually does help them, believe it or not. If they have questions, they can put in a comment, and then I pick up on it and discuss it a bit. And it is interesting to some people to discuss about stuff, and if it's not interesting for you, don't watch it. I mean, it's really I don't, maybe people need to know this again, that if you don't, there's tons of stuff on the internet, and if you get angry about someone doing something that you don't like, then maybe you shouldn't use the internet. I mean, it's whatever. If you don't like it, don't watch it, and that's that. And no one's gonna be mad at you, and no one is mad at you. The funniest thing, though, is that somebody apparently downvoted his comment, right? I don't know how that... apparently you can downvote comments, I guess. I'm not a Reddit veteran, I really gotta say. I'm on there, and I read stuff, and I'm not on there to insult other people all the time. So yeah, I read stuff, and he says, "Edit, thanks for the downvote. Did I offend you? Maybe you can talk about your next video that no one will watch." And dear Mechanon84, I did not read your comments, and again, I don't know why you seem so angry, and again, like, I have nothing against you, I have nothing against your comment, I did not downvote it, I wasn't even there for 3 days, someone else did. Maybe don't just assume things, and I don't know, it's ridiculous. Let's jump into the topics that no one will watch and no one cares about. Right. A productive or constructive comment on Reddit, however, came from Garbluck, and he says, "Integration of other games in Classic. For example, level a character to X in a WoW Classic server to get this mount in Heroes of the Storm." And he says it will happen. And I'd say... what is this? What is this? Yeah, so sorry, I had to make a cut there, because apparently these people here were thinking that a 3-on-1 where the priest almost died was a good idea, and now they're dead. Alright, let's continue. So he says it will happen, and yeah, that is, I don't know, is that a bad thing if you get something in another game if you level to 60 somewhere on the classic realm. I mean, it certainly is something new that wouldn't necessarily make sense for me, but it's probably gonna happen. Yeah, if you have a level 60 on classic servers, maybe you get a, I don't even know a lot about Heroes of the Storm, but maybe you'd get a what's it called, like a I don't know, like an Onyxia amount or something, because you have a 60 classic. As long as it doesn't impact the classic servers, I guess it's okay. I think the interesting thing is the other way around, right? If people are getting stuff in the classic server, on the classic servers, if they have something in retail, and that would actually be pretty, I don't know, I wouldn't like it at all. But that's of course because I don't think that way it's gonna happen that way. You know, the way that if you have cleared something in retail, or let's not call it the official or BFA servers, let's put it that way, the BFA servers, then you get something in classic on the classic servers. I don't think they'll do that. I think Blizzard knows they're pretty confident in or they have a good idea about how the classic server community is. I think they know that they shouldn't put anything in here that doesn't belong in it. I'm pretty sure they know that, to be honest. But if you do have something from classic, you get something in classic done, and then you get an item in another game, I wouldn't actually mind that much. But if that, let's say that would be an item that everyone wants to have, and you need to have a couple of certain characters or a couple of I don't know, maybe a certain amount of 60s or so, that would have a passive or a kind of an influence on the game on the classic servers, because then people would level many more characters, which can be a good thing. I mean, you could also utilize this to keep people leveling on classic servers, right? It's the same for achievements, basically. Do we want this in classic servers? Achievements or anything? Do you want an achievement on the BFA servers if you have something in classic? They don't impact the game very much, except for on the first glance, and on the second glance, it's please post the achievement that you have done at Molten Core to get in the raid. It's not about if that's good or bad, but it does impact it, even though you at first think it's not going to. And the same thing counts for getting stuff here or on the classic servers or on the BFA servers. And I think that if you get something on retail for having done certain things on classic servers, if you're unlucky, or if you're lucky, that let's say 6 60s, you have to have 6 60s to get something on BFA servers, an achievement or a mount or something. And that means more people are going to level, and they're even going to level after the first character they have. Maybe they're only going to level, but it will certainly keep the world populated. Don't forget about that. And that can be a good thing. It can also be, if you're purist or anything, you would say, well, that's not how it was, and but again, like it keeps the world alive. I don't know if it's good or bad. I have no idea. Because it's so vague, and you can't really say. It really depends from case to case. But I think getting something on games outside of the classic servers is a good idea. It could probably only benefit the classic servers, because you have to play on the classic servers to get something. Could be a good thing. The other way around, not so much. Unless there's going to be content after Next Rammers, which I personally would love. But because then it would be something different. That would be an addition on that. But we'll jump into that on the next question, or feedback, much rather. That comes from Pomebot101 to be exact. And he says, seasons would be fine as long as all your seasonal characters are rolled onto a non-seasonal server. You lose no progress that you put in that season, and have an option if you want a fresh start. Opens competitive lettering, which gives people a reason to keep coming back. Say if they take a year off, for example, they have the option of waiting for a new season to start and be on the same level as all people they're playing with, rather than waiting to be on the same level as the other players who have been sitting in Nax gear for the last 6 months. But if I had to choose between seasons and progressing to TBC, I would pick TBC. Okay, and so here's my idea for this, or what I think about could potentially work out. Probably what Blizzard is going to do is one thing, right? So either this or that. They're not gonna do a seasonal server and then a TBC server to meet everyone's requirements. I would guess, at least. I would just guess. And of course we don't know that, but what I could see though is, the seasonal thing in Diablo, I know it's a good thing to make people come back, but I know also that a lot of people don't enjoy this kind of stuff, really. And I know that, the servers are pretty dead, at least that's what I heard from a lot of people. Servers are pretty dead in between those seasons, or when it comes to an end and then you just play there. It's basically like the server has hit Nax, and then there's not very much to do, right? If there's no new content. So yeah, if there would be seasonal servers, that could work, right? And you could always start over for the people that always want to have fresh and do MC again for a year with shit loot. Absolutely no problem. And that would be the seasonal server, right? And then Nax hits and everyone can quit and start over again. I don't know. I don't think as many people enjoy this as on private realms, because on private realms the people just flat out quit usually, and then they come back for a next server like 2 years later, or they just they played this private realm throughout the content, and then they quit private realms or vanilla altogether. So my idea would be, so either let's say you have a seasonal server for the people who want to start over on fresh, and you have servers that are just staying the same for the people that actually enjoy having the gear they grinded for 2 years, and then they sit in their next gear and they enjoy having the next gear and doing stuff with it, and then they maybe enjoy raiding AQ40 and Nax with alts, right, with other characters, but the same guild. You don't want to start all over again. And maybe they enjoy PvPing on the server that stays on the patch level. And on those servers, I would be very interested, or I would actually say that those would be perfect to add additional content to the vanilla servers. And I'm not talking about, God forbid, level cap raise or any of that shit. I'm just talking about if you open up the map, for example, like here, right, with Hygel and all that stuff. Just make it accessible, put some content in there, maybe up here above, that's on the right side, above Lordaeron, the area. Use all the unused space and add some stuff in there. Possibilities are endless, and then you have that sort of, then your Nax gear or the stuff that you have is actually, you can actually go and do stuff with it, right? Or put in some other content. So yeah, or you progress the servers into TBC, which would also be pretty cool. But I think it's a lot more work for Blizzard to also do the whole TBC shit. You know how they are. This took so long to get classic servers. I just doubt that they're gonna do TBC anytime soon, but you never know. That would be really cool if you could progress your characters through, and then probably up to Wrath or something, right? And yeah, so those are the two ideas, seasonal and progressing. And then Nath comes in and he says, only need the ring from Postmaster and got the full set. Liking the vids, thanks for sharing, you're welcome. And I enjoy people enjoying them, so keep posting comments, and then, this is really, really fun to do. His favorite classic dungeons are Sunken Temple, Dire Maul West for some reason, and Blackrock Depths. So Blackrock Depths are ranking pretty high. Not surprisingly, to be honest. Everyone likes it. I know a lot of people hate it, but those are the people that do 200 Iron Foe runs and don't get it, and they think they still need to grind that item. Sunken Temple, I liked it back in the day. Nowadays, not so much, because you really need to clear a lot of shit, but I get why people like it. What about Maraudon, man? I love Maraudon. I really like the style of the dungeon. It's long as shit, and the plant part, the plant wing is really, really annoying, but the rest, it's pretty cool. Oh yeah, let's not make this one too long. That has been MTA 14. Oh yeah, and I gotta read out one more. And it's from Sarah Kerrigan, and I recognize this name, I don't know. And he says, even your videos sound like you've given up on this. And I'm wondering, Sarah Kerrigan, what it is that I've given up on. Maybe it's Lightbringer? Because anything else, I don't know. Maybe you can clarify. That would help in understanding. Alright, then this has been MTA 14. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.